Welcome to International Highlife. My name is Simon Moker, and in this episode I want to talk to you guys about why weed isn't tested in the Netherlands. We have coffee shops here in the Netherlands, and a lot of you people already know and visited those coffee shops in the past. And they opened back up recently due to COVID measurements and stuff like that. And Dutch coffee shops aren't allowed to test cannabis. For a company to test cannabis, it needs to process the cannabis in a way that is not allowed. By law, processing cannabis is forbidden. So these official labs need to get an exemption from the government, and that's really hard to get. Most don't get that. And there's maybe one in the country that allows that, and it's very expensive. And it only let it research or let it test for companies and that also have an exemption of this law. So a lot of coffee shops don't test their cannabis. Most of them don't. I think about 90% don't test it, and then you have, I think, 10% that tests it a little bit. So they say they test it and they test it once in a while. And then you have coffee shops that really test everything they get in, and they don't sell anything unless it's tested. But that's only for a few coffee shops in the Netherlands. And if I remember correctly, I think the Dizzy Duck in The Hague is one of the coffee shops that tests everything they sell. And they will reject cannabis that's badly tested or has a bad result or hasn't tested at all. And one of the other coffee shops is a little coffee shop in Amsterdam called Coffee Shop Relax. They have also a very good test book. I also checked it one time. All the dates seem to match up. So that's pretty good. You don't see that very often. There are some other coffee shops in Amsterdam that say they test, or they do test sometimes, but most of the times all these test results are outdated and not very accurate. So it's really hard to get tested and clean cannabis because you just don't know. A lot of things you can't see by the eye, or you need magnification by a microscope, stuff like that. And this is not something you can do on the go, especially not if you're in a busy coffee shop in Amsterdam. So hopefully that's going to change soon. The Netherlands is doing a test to give a couple of different cities access to legally grown cannabis. They're still setting that up. It's there's a lot of problems with this test. There's a lot still unsure, and they picked a couple of different companies, or at least a lot of companies could apply, and then they did like a lottery and they picked a few companies, which I think is almost 11 companies they picked, 10 or 11. And most of these companies have no actually clue what they're doing. There's only 2 or 3 companies that I have feeling that will be able to produce high quality cannabis. And the other ones, it's going to be really difficult. So there's a lot of problems. That's why also, they prolonged or they procrastinated when they're gonna release the cannabis for coffee shops, because coffee shops can't buy cannabis at the moment legally. They have to buy it from street dealers, growers, importers. There's a lot of different things coming also from overseas. So it's really hard to get good quality cannabis. So when this changes, it's going to be a really good step. So I'm really looking forward to that, because the quality of the cannabis is going to go upwards. And yeah, that's only but good. So now you know why it's not why it's not possible, or at least almost not possible, to get tested cannabis in the Netherlands. In the United States it's different. Everything needs to be tested. If not, it can't be sold, which is more than obvious, more than normal. I've been to Vegas and I got some tested cannabis there. Everything was just fine, very nice quality, and as well for a pretty reasonable price, I think. So that's really interesting. So I hope to see that change, those changes here as well soon. And I think you will think the same. So thank you for watching. Let us know what you think about this. And if you ever tried some tested cannabis, or if you tested yourself. You know, there's also different self-test kits and testing machines, but these testing machines only test for THC, CBD, cannabinoids, and most of the times don't test for viruses, molds, and glass, other stuff they can sprinkle on the cannabis to make it stronger, heavier, or more tasty. So be careful, and let us know what you think about it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye bye.